Hello, this is Aaron.
And this is Kristin.
And this is the Drive Mode Show. Today we're going to talk about scary cars to give your teenager.
You know what? I have to say, before we start, I do not like scary movies. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday, but I don't do scary movies. How about you?
Not anymore, because my kids are little.
Smart idea.
8 to 10, right? 8, 9, and 10. So scary movies are not a thing. Like the new Addams Family that just came out, that's about as hardcore as it gets for us.
Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah. But in the past, I watched Freddy Krueger, Halloween, all of those. Honest, though, my favorites were not the slasher movies. My favorites were the ones like The Shining, things like that. And even real classics. Norman and his mom, that kind of stuff.
No.
But,
there's certain movies that if I just see the title of it, it gives me a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like scary movies.
But I think we're both on the same page when it comes to what's scary with teenagers and cars.
Yes,
right?
because we know, because we were teenagers once, believe it or not, and we were probably not the best drivers because you don't have a lot of experience at that point and your frontal cortex isn't fully developed.
Mm-hmm. So when I was a kid, as a teenager, I drove the farm truck and my own car. And I drove occasionally my mom's car. And that was about as scary as it got. Like, we didn't have anything. We're talking like Toyota Corollas and 1950s Chevy trucks. There wasn't anything scary about those. I didn't have access to really scary stuff like orange McLarens.
Good thing. Or
a
a black
whole
one.
different person by now, probably in a wheelchair.
Well, I was taking a walk this morning and I saw a guy driving a Camaro. It had racing stripes. It was a good looking car. He sped past me really fast. And I looked and this kid barely had chin hair. Like, he was not very old to be driving a muscle car like that.
So there's a song about that.
Which one?
Bitchin' Camaro, bitchin' Camaro.
Oh,
I ran over my neighbors.
classic.
Bitchin' Camaro. Now I'm in all the papers.
Is that, was that the Dead Milkman? Who was that?
What's that?
Was that the Dead Milkman?
Dead Milkman. Good.
Yes.
Good. I am proud of you for that.
My high school years are
outside of
flashing.
your. That's outside of your normal purview.
Oh no, I was emo once.
Really?
But they didn't call it emo, we called it goth back then.
Oh yeah. Did you have the raccoon eyes?
No, but I did wear blue lipstick.
See, and I was wearing like tie-dye and flannel.
Well, we just had the Austin City Limits Music Festival here, and The Cure was one of the headline acts.
Okay.
And they sound incredible. They look the same. That's what was really alarming. So anyway, back
Robert
to
Smith
scary cars.
Still looks
Yes,
like that.
He does.
He's not like Axel. He didn't all puff up.
Well, anyway, the music sounds awesome. It still sounds great.
Good.
So I've
That was
heard
never my
there's
kind of music, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's not death metal.
No, it's not. I mean, I was into like Grateful Dead and stuff too, but I was never into. I just lumped them all together. I called them whining Europeans. I just never got into that music. Okay, scary teenage cars. So you went with the kid driving a Camaro down the street?
Yeah, I saw that. And I heard recently, too, about a guy that got his teenage son a Lamborghini Urus. It looks like a family car. It is not a family car.
Bad call.
Bad call.
I don't even want to know what the insurance is for that.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't. I don't even want to ask.
I don't even want to think about
What's
it.
the insurance rate? What's the going rate for a 16-year-old in a Lamborghini?
It's gotta be terrible. But for people like that, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hand your new driver the keys to something that can get them killed. That's crazy.
And you can even, so you were talking about the Camaro. There was a kid in our neighborhood who was probably old enough to drive, so at least 16, but I don't think much past that, who was driving around in an older model Subaru STI. So WRX STI. I think 2 generations ago, still had the hatchback and all of that. And I don't think that's a terrible choice for a kid, unless it's that kid, because he was laying rubber in an all-wheel car. Think about that.
Yeah.
Laying rubber in an all-wheel drive car.
Isn't that one of your favorite cars?
It is. But I don't think it's a good teenage car.
No.
I think a straight-up WRX is a great teenage car. Because it gives you the sports car, gives you the feel, but you don't have the extra power metrics and all the other, and you don't really have all the whole like rallycross persona as much with that car. I just think giving a kid too much car is just a bad idea.
Yeah, like a Durango SRT. Looks like it would be a great family car, and it is a great family car. We talked about that on our Ultimate Family Vehicles episode. But to hand a kid the keys to a vehicle that moves like that, and then they're going to pile all their friends inside and take off, it's going to be not good.
Well, I believe you can lock that one through the infotainment. So I think there's a way to valet mode it or something so that it's limited as to what it can do. I know you can do that with all of the red key cars, so all the Hellcats, Trackhawks, etc.
Yeah, but the black key still has 500 and some horsepower, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, I interviewed, I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. I interviewed someone from U.S. News and World Report, and they were talking about best cars for teenagers. And, you know, she said one of the best things you can do is to give your kid a used Buick, because they're not going to think it's cool. They're not going to want to pile all their friends inside. It's a big, safe vehicle. You know, we're talking like not a real old Buick, but like a 2017, 2016 Buick LaCrosse. It's safe. It's going to get them there. They're not going to want to show off in it. I mean, hopefully.
You know what my favorite teenage car has been? And I have proposed this car to many parents when they're like, I need a car for my 16-year-old, 17-year-old, and I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I don't want them to go out and be, hanging with their friends and screaming in the car and driving too fast and getting hurt.
Yeah.
I always point to Nissan Leaf.
Really?
They
The
got like
Leaf?
100 miles of range, so they're limited how far they can go.
Okay.
You can track it through the app all the time. It's only got about 100 miles of range, like I said, and kudos to the Leaf because it's a great little car, but it is not the prettiest car on the road at all. And just everything about it, and you can buy it on a lease for like $100 a month, right? It's like $99 a month for that car if you get the right lease. So everything is there as the teenage car right there.
That's a good call. We have a new blog post that just got posted on our site on drivemodeshow.com, and it's about Nissan cars because they have a car in 3 different segments, or a vehicle in 3 different segments that's under $20,000. A sedan, a crossover, and a pickup truck.
So another vehicle I don't think I would ever give a kid is anything from Tesla. Price point is one big reason. Repair costs are another big reason. And speed is another big reason.
And cool factor. I mean, if they're driving a Tesla, they're going to be like, hey, I'm driving a Tesla. Get in. Let's go.
Yeah. But they're really fast. 0 to 60s in under 7 seconds across the board. Some of them way faster than even that. And they're exceedingly expensive, both to buy and to repair. And fact of life, when kids are driving, there will be fender benders. It's going to happen.
Truth.
They're either going to ding somebody in the parking lot, they're going to, hit somebody at a light, or they're going to, something's going to happen. Their friend is going to fall on the car. These stupid things happen because they're kids. I'm not saying that one out of experience at all. But think about it, like my little Toyota Corolla, which I owned at 17, had little tiny pinholes in the roof because my friend had these big spikes on his leather jacket. And he'd be in the back seat jamming, and he smacked it and put holes in the roof.
Those are some serious spikes. You have to post a picture of that.
They were like this long. They were like 2 inches. And yeah. And I don't remember what we were listening to. I think we were listening to, it was the first Cannibal Corpse album.
Oh my goodness.
I remember that.
That's how I feel about the first time I was listening to Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction on cassette in my Dodge Aspen. And my friend who was driving with me when I was a teenager, she said, "That is scary. This music is scary." So another car that I would say could be a scary choice for teenagers, but it's wonderful for adults that love to drive, is the Fiat 124 Abarth. It's so fun to drive around because the back just swings around and it's a blast.
And you wouldn't think of that as an unsafe car. But
Well, not that
in
it's
the hands
unsafe,
of somebody
it's-
who's not in control, the Abarth specifically is not a good choice. A regular Fiat 500, I would let a kid drive that all day. That's a great car for kids. But you just add that little bit of turbocharging and the tighter suspension that comes with the Abarth, and you're starting to ask for trouble. So you're totally right on that.
Yeah, I think it's important to, when you're teaching a teenager to drive, first of all, make sure they can drive a manual and an automatic. Save the manuals. But I also think it's important to work them up. They have graduated licenses now where you can only drive during certain hours and you can't have other kids in the car. I think it's really important to follow that path, those phases, and start them out in a car that doesn't have a ton of power. That's why the Nissan Leaf was a really good idea, because it's powerful enough to get you where you want to go, but it limits the range for them, and it also limits the amount of power that they're going to have access to. You don't want to give them the keys to the whole kingdom yet.
Right. You don't want to give them a Mustang GT.
No, you can give me a Mustang GT, but not a teenager.
No. But I will say, I would give a lot of kudos to Chevy. Chevy has that suite of parental controls
Yes.
for most of their cars.
The teen driver
You
is
can get it,
standard
as
now.
far as I know, in all the GMCs, right?
Yes.
And most of the Chevy models, and I think all the Buick models.
I think so too.
Cadillac, I'm not so sure of. But you can limit things like how loud the radio can be.
That's something a lot of people don't think of, I think, but that's how I got rear-ended by a teenager who had her radio up too loud, and I was honking at her. She was coming right at me, and when I jumped out of the car, because I was 6 months pregnant and I was mad, I jumped out of the car and I said, "Did you have your radio up too loud? Did you not hear me?" And she's like, "Yes, I did." So that's an important
I have a friend
control.
who's an ambulance driver, and he told me at one point that most of the time they get in an accident, like going through an intersection, things like that, it's because the person had their radio up loud or the windows up, and they couldn't hear the ambulance at all.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
So
So those driver controls can make cars a less scary choice for teenagers.
And you have GPS tracking for the car. You have a lot of other things that go with it.
And the conversation around that teen driver feature is really smart. And what they say is it should be a conversation starter for you and your teenager. It's not supposed to be, and it's called a report card as such, but you're not supposed to be checking on it all the time. It's like, hey, I noticed that you're stopping too fast here, and this is why you shouldn't do that. Because they don't know. They don't know that you should wait a beat when you're getting out of a red light or when you're going through the intersection. I always tell my son when we're driving, assume the worst of the other drivers. You need to always have your escape route. You always need to be making sure that you're looking to see what other people are doing and anticipate. And that teen driver feature, I think, will help parents talk to their kids about what they're doing and why they need to maybe adjust that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. That's something that's learned over time. You can't force it. You can't feed it to somebody and now they know it. They have to learn it. They have to do it.
Yeah, just like anything that you teach the kids, right?
Right. So it just takes time.
It does. That's one thing that I really liked about my motorcycle license class, is that's something that they really talk about over and over and over, is drive like you're the only one on the road. Drive like people can't see you. Well, not like you're the only one on the road, because that could be that you could become careless in that way. But what they're saying is that you want to make sure that you're aware of all those things around you, like you were saying, and make sure that you're focused on the cars in front of you, the cars next to you, the cars behind you, and anticipate.
So just statistically thinking about it, half of all wrecks are not caused by you, right? So at least half of all the wrecks you get in are not caused by you. They're caused by the other person, because a wreck is generally takes two to tango, right? So if you get in a wreck that involves more than one vehicle, it's either you or the other person that caused the wreck, right? It's rare that it's just going to be some random event,
Right.
where I don't know, the guardian angels went on a coffee break and hell broke loose. That's
Literally.
So somebody caused a wreck, and once you realize that, then you realize that that at least half of your job as a driver is to watch other drivers, and then you get safer.
I
Because
agree.
you start anticipating, what kind of stupid things could that person do that would cause me issues? Am I too close to this? Am I too close to that? Are they too close to me, and how can I change that? All those things.
Yeah, so we're talking, in the whole theme of Halloween, making driving less scary for teenagers. Make sure you give them the right car. Make sure that you're teaching them what to look for and to anticipate, and use your tools like Chevy's Teen Driver to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and use that as a tool to help them learn. And what else do they need to know? What else can make driving less scary?
So, I have a question. What do you think is the scariest car color?
Scariest? Like, as in alarming? Might be like some of the neon greens. I think neon green is kind of scary.
But for me, the scariest color is that really pale soccer mom blue.
That's scary?
That was like on every minivan in the early 2000s.
Okay, I'm
right?
picturing it.
Oh, it was a terrible color. So ugly.
Baby blue.
Just a terrible color. And I see it resurge once in a while, and I look at the car and I'm just like,
I have a thing for paint colors, and I think that one of the coolest colors is Mazda's Soul Red. We've talked about that before. They have a spectacular red, and some of the reds out there are really cool. I'm trying to think if I've seen any other colors, though, that are just scary or strange.
Usually it's not the color itself, it's the car that it's on clashes with the color, right? So for a long time, Subaru had a really wonderful forest green color that looked really good on Subaru. Then other companies started using it, and it was on like a regular shaped crossover, and it looked terrible. It would just be ugly. Sometimes you have like I have the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro right now, the 2020 model, so it has the new Army Green.
I like that color.
It's a wonderful color on that. But if you put that on like a BMW...
Yeah, that would not look good. You're right.
I can't see it on a BMW, especially sedan, looking good at all.
I did like the green of that Alfa Romeo Stelvio Tiluso that we talked about.
Yeah, because I had the red one, and I liked the red, but I really liked that green that you had. That's
green.
Such a good color for that.
It was really pretty. And there's nothing like the Alfa Romeo hubcaps.
Yeah,
those wheels are...
Those wheels.
Not hubcaps, the wheels.
So, another color that's terrible are these copperish browns that all these, especially with trucks, they're trying to do. It's a really, really easy thing to screw up. So I've seen ones where it's basically just brown.
Okay.
And it's terrible.
Please no. Please cut that. Well, I'm excited about Halloween. It's right around the corner, and my son is 10, so Halloween is still super fun. My son is going as something from Fortnite, and maybe I'll join him in doing something Fortnite-ish.
We have a taco, a wit or a vampire, and a rocker chick.
Oh, fun. That's one of my favorite costumes.
And what was the other one? $20 bill.
A $20 bill? I've never seen that.
It's basically a money, right? So it looks like a big $20 bill with her face sticking out where the face would be.
That's pretty funny. I heard about a very clever Halloween costume this week on the radio.
Money glasses to go with it.
Oh, that's fun too. They were talking about Halloween costumes on the radio yesterday, and they were talking about this guy and his girlfriend were having an argument about what he wants to be for Halloween, and they'd asked for some adjudication. But last year, apparently, he dressed up as Post-Op Malone. So he had like the face tattoos of Post Malone, but he was carrying an IV drip bag and had like the hospital gown. I thought it was really funny, Post-Op Malone. It's clever. I'm not going to be that though.
No.
Anyway, be safe when you're trick-or-treating out there, people. This has been Drive Show. Oh yeah, headlights. Yeah, okay.
All right, this has been Aaron.
This has been Kristin.
And this was the Drive Mode Show. Hit the subscribe button.